So you think that spending some time on Google or chatting with AI is what's going to help you feel better. And I'm going to pick apart why that does feel better in the moment, but actually is not the best use of your time, and what you can do instead to actually move the needle and enhance your fertility, improve your chances of a successful pregnancy in just a few minutes a day. And some of you may be listening and immediately be like, well, no, because I have been diagnosed with this, I've been diagnosed with that, or we've already been through 6 rounds of IVF, that didn't work, so why would this work? But that's a question that obviously my clients who have been through 8 rounds of IVF and had their baby naturally, or have been through recurrent miscarriage and are now pregnant after their final IVF round. That's the question. Those clients were like, oh, I wonder if this could be the thing. And by giving it a chance was the thing, or, added to the things that have moved the needle and have made, their miracle baby, the baby they've been dreaming about, end up being in their arms. But let's speak to start with about why spending some time chatting to, I think everyone, or a lot of people now, are at the stage that like, instead of just Googling something, we pop it into AI. Pop it into AI, and what we want is for AI to come back and go, oh, Naomi, you are completely right, you are completely justified, and everything is going to be okay. And if we ask it the right question in the right way, that is the answer we're going to get. And so it can be quite soothing in a way. It can be very helpful. I think it's definitely, I'm not saying don't research any conditions you have. I'm not saying don't spend that time researching, but you and I both know you're the type of person who had done so much research already. You probably arrive at your doctor's appointments with reams of notes, just reams, and amazing, insightful questions that actually get your doctor to raise their eyebrows and be like, oh, you've spent the weekend with AI, haven't you? Which is good. That is a good thing. However, it crosses over when we don't know when to stop and start doing other things, add other things into our arsenal, other things into our toolkit. Because what we're actually looking for from Google, from AI, is peace of mind. We're looking for a sense of control. Because when we're long-term trying to conceive, we feel so out of control at a time in our lives where before we started trying, we pretty much had all our ducks in a row. And the list I'm about to share is in no way a list of the things you need to have sorted out. I'm purely labeling, these are the things that I notice in most of my clients, most of my followers, most of the people that reach out to me on Instagram. They tell me that, they had the relationship. They were sorted. They finally met someone and settled down with someone they were like, right, yep, happy to be with this person for the rest of my life. Brilliant. Tick that box, happy to start a family with this person. Their living arrangements were sorted. You probably own your own house, or if you don't, you at least know that you could bring a baby into that home. And bearing in mind, babies have to sleep in the same bedroom as us until they are at least 6 months old. You don't need loads of space to have a baby. And everyone says, oh, babies come with loads of stuff. They do, but a lot of it is foldable and you can pack it away. So actually, we had Jasper. We were trying to move to the country. We were trying to move out of London. We wanted to have, our 3-bed house all set up. Yes, I wanted to do that kitchen renovation before he arrived. So he used to work in interiors, and that's what everybody does. But we had 2 sales fall through. And so we ended up having Jasper in our 1-bed flat in London. And we made it work because you do. You just make it work. But for most of you, you're sorted. You know, you're like, can get pregnant, have a baby in this space. And you might have plans to move if that baby is older, but you're sorted. Your career is probably sorted. You've probably been flying high. You've maybe even held off starting to try for a family because your career has been at its peak, and you're like, oh, I just did another 6 months. If I just build up that nest, if I just get my investment sorted, if I just save probably a bit more in my pension or whatever it is, you're like, yeah, sorted. Then you started trying to conceive. You're maybe now a few years in. That nest egg is just gone because you spent it on IVF and supplements. And you're like, what the shit? Like, before trying, I was sorted. I was sorted. And now, wow, where am I? My relationship feels like it's hanging on by a frigging thread because one of us wants to do treatment, the other one doesn't, or one of us, like, petrified about how much it costs, and the other one's like, this is the only route we've got. You've got that pressure of having to have sex at the right time, numerous times a month, which is not great for any relationship, any sex life. Your career that you maybe once absolutely loved and felt so capable in, so like, yep, I've found my place, this is it, people respect me, I get shit done. Suddenly, you either literally just don't care about your work in the same way, because what you want is to be on maternity leave with your baby, especially like it's the May bank holiday here in the UK, especially when it is a friggin' gorgeous weather. Or rather, sorry, it's the day after the bank holiday here in the UK, and I bet all of you who are trying to conceive in the UK are setting off to work today or sitting down on your laptops in your spare room or your kitchen table going, for fuck's sake, it is an absolutely beautiful day and I have to work, and what I should be doing is either being on maternity leave and, you know, I should be going to the splash park with my toddler by now. I should be enjoying this amazing weather rather than having to sit here and do this. I can resonate so much with that. Or maybe you're the opposite of that. Maybe you absolutely friggin' love your job and absolutely love it, and you're like, right, I'm going to take 6 months off maternity leave and then I'll be back part-time, but I'll have my career and I'll have the baby. Maybe you're in that camp and you're like, but the time's ticking by, and you're like, I really just, like, I want to get the fertility stuff sorted so it stops being a massive distraction for my career. And actually, I want to get back to being able to focus on this rather than the fertility being an absolutely massive thing which is taking over everything. So like I said, these are definitely not tick boxes that you need to have everything in place before having a baby. But this is generally what I see in my work and with people that reach out to me. That this is maybe the first time in your life where you feel out of control and you feel like, I don't like this feeling. I don't like feeling out of control. By the way, no human does, obviously. But if this is the first time you felt out of control, or maybe this is the first time in your adult life that you felt out of control, and this is now actually really, really bringing up stuff from your childhood or teens where you felt out of control, and you really don't like that feeling either. You're getting reminded of a way of being, a way of living that did not feel comfortable. And actually that is why your life was so structured. That's why you had all your beans in a row, because it made you feel safe. And so when things aren't in a row, when things are out of control, you feel so unsafe. You feel so unsteady. And this is the crux of it. This is what I want to talk about today, because it's that sense of safety in our own bodies, in our homes, in our work, in our fertility journey, that allows us to really make decisions from a place of clarity and confidence rather than fear. We're not making any knee-jerk reactions. We are doing the research. We're understanding the situation fully. We're getting second opinions when we're given opinions by doctors that we're like, really? We're really advocating for ourselves and understanding that, we're the person that has to drive this. No one should put their full faith in one doctor. You should have faith in your doctor, and you should hopefully trust your doctor and have a really good relationship. But you should also understand what treatment you are doing, understand the protocols, understand why your doctor is making those decisions. And if you don't, ask those questions and get clued up. So an amazing podcast episode to listen to if you're going through treatment or considering treatment. It's the interview I did with Dr. Amy, the egg whisperer, where she pretty much tells us, I think in about 40 minutes, so much amazing information about doing treatment, the tests you should be having, the protocols, and like a really strong understanding of what to do if you've had recurrent miscarriage. It's an amazing episode. I will link it under this podcast. But what we want to check in with is, if you don't have that sense of safety, which the vast majority of women going through infertility or recurrent loss, of course you don't have that sense of safety, because the very foundation of who you are and what you want and what you thought your life would look like by now has been shaken and will just burnt to the ground, and you're now like, that's what we want to change. So when I say you can improve your fertility in just a few minutes a day, what I'm talking about is not just nervous system regulation, which is like a big buzzword on socials at the moment. Oh, we got regulate nervous system, regulate. I'll just be regulated. Yes. If you're dysregulated, emotionally dysregulated, physically you need to be emotionally regulated. Yes, we do. But some people think that means doing a yoga class once a week. Some people feel like, that's the 5-minute meditation I do at lunch. Tick. There we go. I've done my nervous system regulation. Brilliant. Then going back into your high-flying job where you're stressed up to your eyeballs, but you love it, so you're getting that dopamine. There's so much cortisol and adrenaline running through your body, but that's how you fly. That's how you get your job done. And you love it, but you're also a little voice in your head is like, is this okay to be this stressed? Because actually, you're so used to that level of stress now. It feels normal. You're so used to that level of stress that actually when you do take time off, maybe over this weekend, maybe it got to Monday and your body's like, give me the adrenaline, give me the cortisol. Maybe even deliberately over this weekend, instead of just chilling out, pop into the garden centre like the rest of the UK, spending a fortune on plants that are only pulling in a flower for about another week. You've done something really high adrenaline and high cortisol. You've maybe gone and seen like a massive group of friends and done like a big trip away or something to get that dopamine hit, to get that adrenaline cortisol hit, because you're living in that state all of the time. Or maybe you've really tried to relax. You're like, right, it's bank holiday. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to relax. It's going to be brilliant. Maybe you even got a book. Maybe you even bought yourself a book or downloaded something onto your Kobo and you're like, right, I'm going to sit in my garden. It's going to be amazing. And then you sit there and your body is so wired, so on edge that you just cannot relax. You're just like, what's the point of trying to relax? Because I am so on edge, just can't do it. Being able to actually step out of stress response, or rather, not step out of, it takes time for our body to come out of stress. We can go into stress response in a split second. So this is the second recording of this podcast, because the first one has me swearing incredibly loudly directly into the microphone as a pheasant saw me coming, got scared, tried to fly, but was sat underneath a fence. So got stuck in the fence. And then so decided just to fly directly at my face, as they do. So yes, my body is still recovering from that experience. I decided not to share that particular part of the recording because I saw it incredibly loudly. But the point is, your body goes into stress response in a split second. But to come out of it takes time. Yeah, so it can take a split second to get into stress, but up to, or at least 3 minutes to calm down and come back out of it. And that's why the MP3 you get when you join my mailing list, what's it called? Fertile Thoughts Reset, allows you to guide your body with the help of that MP3 out of stress response and into rest, digest, heal and reproduce. The state that we want your body living in. So as well, people think that, oh my God, in order to conceive, I need to quit my high-flying job. I need to have absolutely no stress in my life. I should probably just get rid of my husband because he's a massive cause of stress. I need to just live in a bubble of no stress. You don't at all. Our bodies are designed to go into stress, but for short periods of time, then come back out. Into stress, back out. Into stress, back out. So I've been working with 2 primary school teachers over the last few months. And both of them were using language like, I have a really stressful job. Like being a primary teacher, you know, it's like culturally is known in the UK, being a primary teacher, stressful job, it's full on. Basically in term time, you're just on the whole time. You work evenings and weekends to get everything done and get everything set up. And then at the weekends, you just crash out. And then the holidays are pretty much just recovery. So I was like, right, we need to change this because yes, these jobs can be stressful, but you need to learn how to not let that stress take over your body and control your body. So you can be in an incredibly stressful situation without your body having to be stressed, yeah? So you can be aware and you can be focused, but you don't need to be hypervigilant, waiting for the next thing to happen in the classroom, because that's generally what happens. You are scanning the room, checking all of the kids, keeping an eye on the ones that have a tendency to go and wallop the kid next to them. And so your brain is teaching while also having that hypervigilance of keeping everyone safe and checking everyone's all right and who needs a wee, etc., etc. So this is where we want to change that. And for both of them, over the past 12 weeks, they've both just got to the end of the Embrace Fertility method, feel that they can now help their bodies do that. So they have practices like the ones I'm going to share with you today to set their body up in the morning before starting work, to go into the day feeling rested, resilient, and ready to go. They then have practices they can actually be using in the moment to calm their bodies and to ride through any stressful periods. They have little practices that they're doing on their lunch break that just take a few minutes to reset, bring their body back to balance. And then practices they do when they get home, all of this just taking a few minutes each time to clear their mind from the day and go into the next chapter of their day without carrying their work fully into their evening. And the joy of doing this is when you do these things every single day, numerous times a day, you're giving the message to your body that you're safe and that it's okay to switch off hypervigilance. It's safe to do so. And your body won't believe you to start with, and sometimes even pushes back. And sometimes when people start this work, they're like, oh my God, I'm even more stressed than I was before because now I'm thinking about the stress, and so that all the stress. That's okay. Yeah? It's our mind and body testing us and being like, whoa, oh, you're listening. You're finally listening. Oh my God, I've been holding it together so long. Here you go. I'm just going to give it you all now. And that's okay because you can hold that and you can be like, okay, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm going to change the way I'm doing things. Let's go. Let's get things working in a different way. So the techniques I'm talking about are somatic acupressure techniques. So we're connecting the mind and body, the nervous system regulation techniques that are just giving that message to your body. So the most powerful one, and one that I want you to all practice now, if you can, obviously not if you're driving, But if you can just pause whatever you're doing at the moment, or if you're listening to this walking, just stand still to do this. And I want you to rub the palms of your hands together to create some friction, to create some heat. And I want you to put one hand on your forehead with your thumb in your hairline, so you're cradling the whole of your forehead. And then your other hand, you're going to cradle the back of your head, so again, thumb in your hairline, by holding the back of your head where there are those two like ridges that go up into your hair. So now you're in essence holding your head with your elbows sticking out to the sides. What I want you to do is, keeping your head completely still, I want you to look at the elbow of the arm that's on the back of your head. So whatever hand is on the back of your head, that's the elbow I want you to look at without turning your head, just by moving your eyes. So if you've put your right hand on the front and your left hand on the back, you're going to be looking hard left to your left elbow. And what you're going to do is just stare at your elbow until you feel a release. So for some people, the release is that your eyes will start to flicker and you will just have to blink. Or it will be a yawn or a sigh. Or it might just be the most subtle little shift that is just like, oh, just a little something. If your arms or eyes start to hurt, then just put them down. But if it feels like a little bit uncomfortable, go with it, ride through it, and wait till you feel that release. Then place your arms down, and this might take a few times to practice this, to recognize the release in yourself, because it can be very small to start with. Placing your arms down, close your eyes for a moment. Just take a really deep breath. And then I want you to do the same, but putting the opposite hand on your forehead. So if you had the right at the front to start with, now you're doing the left, in which case you're now looking at your right elbow, because that's the one that's further back. So again, keeping your head still, looking directly hard right, just with your eyeballs. Keep looking at your elbow until you feel that release. What this is doing is activating acupressure points on our forehead and the back of our head. We are bringing our body out of stress response by holding onto our forebrain. So when we're stressed, we lose the blood coming to the forebrain, the front of our forehead. And this is why if someone forgets something or is feeling very stressed, they can slap their hand onto their forehead and be like, because it naturally helps us bring us back into our cognitive awareness and cognitive thinking. So we're doing that. By doing the eye movements, we are literally signaling to our body that it is safe for us to release. It is safe for us to let go. So placing your arms down if you haven't felt a release. And this is something that I invite you to keep practicing and coming back to. I'm going to share a little video as well underneath this recording so you can see exactly how to do this. And then in the recording, I'll practice it twice on both sides so you can see how you could just pull up that little recording, follow along with me. Even if you're not feeling the release to start with, it's still doing so much. It is beginning to tell your body that a release is what you want, basically. So the more you do it, the easier it will be for your body to let go and feel that release. And so this I call the side eye. And I invite you to practice that, if you can, 3 times a day. Or rather, no, let's rephrase that. Just do it 3 times a day. Because of course you can. It takes a few minutes. Every time you're going to pick up your phone to scroll, do this first. Because it's also quite telling. Because if you're doing this and while you're doing it, you're going, oh my God, I'm bored, this is taking so long, why have I not had a release yet? Yeah, you're addicted to dopamine and you're going too fast and your body has forgotten how to be bored. Which It's not your fault. It's all of us. We're used to this high pace. We're used to this instant gratification of picking up our phones and scrolling, of messages coming in at all hours, of work never being truly switched off because we've got our work emails on our phone and we're always thinking about it. We are addicted to dopamine just as a society. And it feels really fun when we're doing it. It's fun to scroll on your phone in the middle of the night. It's fun to do these things, but we know deep down, we know it, we feel it in our bodies. It feels great when we're doing it, but then half an hour later or the next day, we're like, oh, I feel a bit icky. Oh, I don't feel great. Because we know it's not good for us. So if you're doing this technique and you're like, I am so bored, I can't even do it. I need to crack on. I need to go and do something else. That shows that you need this technique even more. And you need to slow down and just give yourself some time. Oh no, I've come through to the rapeseed flowers field and I'd completely forgotten that they'd grown over and sealed up the path. Oh my word. Okay. I'm going to have to they're prickly as well. Oh, I'm just going to have to ride through the parting of the sea. Oh, blimey. Okay, I'm going to share a picture on my website, embracefertility.co.uk, of what this looks like. I should share it on Instagram, but I'll stick it on Instagram because this is absolutely stunning, but it's quite prickly. Anyway, distracted. Anyway, so that's the side eye. The next one is the balancing breath. Again, I'm going to share a little video underneath that you can save to come back to. And this is where I want you to stand up straight. Again, and you do this if it's safe to do so right now. Take responsibility for your own well-being. Stand up straight. Chin up a little bit higher than you would normally have your chin. And just feel that stretch in the front of your neck for a moment. Allow your chin to come back into the natural position. Place your arms by your side with your palms facing forwards. And as you breathe in, you are going to raise your arms up above your head really slowly, painfully slowly. What I was saying about just being bored, you'll want to do this really fast if you are just working at that pace. Do it really slowly. And as you do, I want you to track your hands with your head. So you're going to tip your chin down. So you're looking down at your hands. And as you rise up, you're going to be moving your head and moving your eyeballs to track those hands. And you're going to go all the way up until your hands are directly above you. And then you're going to bring them down. So you're going to turn them around. So now your palms are facing down towards the floor. And then you're going to breathe out as you're moving your hands down. So you're going to breathe in, going up. Turn your hands around at the top, breathing out as you come down. Again, painfully slowly. Really slowly coming down. And then you're going to repeat that 3 times. So breathing in, going up, turning your hands, breathing out as you come down. That's balancing breath. And what this is doing, again, because we're activating the body and moving our arms, moving our head, moving our eyeballs, we are, again, telling our body that we're safe, that we can slow down, that we can release, that we are okay, yeah? And the more you practice these, and the more aware you become of how your body feels afterwards. Because so many of the Embrace Fertility Method members say how they didn't even realise how much tension and stress they were holding in their bodies until they started practicing these techniques and feeling the relief afterwards. And then they're like, oh, that does feel different. So a question I'll ask all members when they start was, when was the last time you felt completely relaxed in your body? When was the last time you just felt like, oh, yeah, everything's good, everything's fine? I really think about that. When was the last time? For a lot of people, they're like, I don't remember. And I'm like, well, keep going back in time. Imagine, there's a timeline that you can travel back in your life. Travel back along that timeline all the way until you do remember a time. And a lot of the time it'll be, it's about a year ago, and I was on the beach A lot of the time it's when we're on holiday, because that's when most of us actually switch off. Or, it was when I went to a meditation class and I had a nap. And actually when I woke up, I felt really chilled. Like, think about when the last time was. I want you to change that. And so if I ask you again in a week's time, when was the last time you felt fully relaxed? I want you to be able to answer, about 2 hours ago when I did the balancing breath. Or, this morning I did the side eye. That's what I want your answer to be, yeah? Not for me, obviously, for you. Because that's what true nervous system regulation is. It's not the once a week yoga. It's not the 5-minute meditation, whereas actually then you just feel like I've ticked the box, but I don't feel any different. But I've had my eyes closed for 5 minutes. I've just sat there trying not to think about work, trying not to think about my next treatment round. Doesn't count. It helps. Right, I take that back. It does count. It all counts. But it's like putting a penny in the box and you want to save up £1,000 and you've put a penny in. And then at the end of the week, you've put 7 pence in. And you're like, it's not £1,000. No, it's not £1,000 because you only put 7p in. Yeah? We think we're doing the right things. But actually, if you're spending an hour and a half in the evening having a massive long conversation with ChatGTP and you've spent 5 minutes meditating at lunchtime and you went for a walk for 15 minutes, whereas actually you're on your phone the whole time. Do you see what I mean? It's like we need to switch that balance. Yes, do the research. Yes, have those interactions and get clued up, but then make sure you're also doing the things that really move the needle. So we're going to pop both of those techniques below. And I recommend signing up to my mailing list if you haven't already at embracefertility.co.uk, where you're also going to get that 3-minute reset MP3 that I mentioned. This MP3 is a combination of mindfulness, hypnosis, NLP, acupressure points, and positive psychology. And it helps you it's 3 minutes and 20 seconds to bring your body out of stress response and give it those suggestions that you are safe and that a healthy pregnancy and baby are what you want. So you can go and grab that now, and you also will get the instant access replay of the latest class that I ran release. So in this class, I talk you through 3 shifts that you can make to allow your body to finally feel safe enough to get and stay pregnant without having to stay positive, without having to just relax. We want to actually teach your body how to switch off stress response and live in a sense of safety and calm. So you can get that video as well at embracefertility.co.uk.